Ryan, you originally got the idea for this film from a newspaper article, correct?
Yes. About 5 years ago, I read a newspaper article about a man who had returned home from war, and he had served his country honorably, and he was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, and it was the first time I'd ever heard about post-traumatic stress disorder. I mean, I knew that soldiers had come back from other wars with these kind of effects, but there's no real tangible stories coming out of this war. About 5 years ago, nobody was talking about the effects of soldiers from war. It was, there was like a news lockdown. I mean, they wouldn't even show coffins coming off the airplanes. And so I was really deeply affected by it, and it kind of turned into this 2-year journey to really just try and understand what soldiers were going through when they came home. And I guess at a certain point I realized that I had a story I wanted to tell. And what I realized was sadly this story was happening more and more often, that soldiers are coming home and their lives are just falling apart. And from this invisible wound that they had. And I think after hearing so many stories and realizing, wow, this is going on so much more than I even knew, and definitely more than the general public knows. And I felt like if I'm a filmmaker with a voice and have the ability to say something about this issue, then I should do so. Somewhere in me I connected with this story of these men and women, so I felt kind of like it was my duty, in a sense, to really bring some attention to it. I would say the most difficult part by far was the pressure of trying to get to the root of this story and get to the root of what I was trying to say, and not bastardize the situation. I really, I heard so many stories and I read so many accounts of people going through this issue, and I just didn't want to do something where I just took this story and turned it into some kind of political agenda or turned it into some kind of big statement. I really wanted to try and get to the heart of this character and bring him to life, to allow people to experience as purely as they could what it might feel like to be in his shoes. So there was a lot of pressure in writing the script. I think that was probably the most difficult part of this whole process, was just not only in the script writing process, but every step of the way trying to make sure we were authentic to every detail. Down to the patches on the uniform that he puts on the ground that you never see. It's like we wanted to make sure that at least if they were ever seen, they were on right. And for us, I wanted to make sure every actor was given what they needed to bring to life these characters, whether it be with the accent or like Jason Ritter studied slaughterhouse videos so he could understand how his character might kill cows. I mean, it was like very, very detailed, because I wanted every moment and everything in the movie to just be rooted in some kind of authenticity, and that was something that we fought for every single. I fought for every day that I was writing it. We fought for every day as a team on set, and in the editing process, we all fought for that as well.